New video course that reveals the secret of how to safely prepare and store all types of survival foods in an event of social unrest and food shortages here in the U.S. Grain shortages and hunger are spreading across the globe. Will troops guard the food supplies in the U.S. this fall? Don't wait. Learn the food shortage skills that can keep you and your family alive in a crisis. Get the details at foodshortageusa.com. That's foodshortageusa.com. Or you can call toll-free 877-327-0365. Don't wait for empty shelves. Go to foodshortageusa.com while you still have time. www.foodshortageusa.com. Or toll-free at 877-327-0365. Act now.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden.
This is his MO.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings and war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Aging doesn't only show in your face, but it can be felt in your body. You feel tired. Your joints and muscles ache, and your mind seems clouded and forgetful. It's time to stop the aging clock with a proven system brought to you by NutriMedical.com. Anti-Age Max uses a revolutionary formula to turn back the hands of time on the inside and out. Combine Anti-Age Max with Nutritrala to protect against cellular damage, and Collagen Max to regenerate healthy bones, ligaments, joints, and improve the collagen and elastin to your skin's appearance. It is possible to look and feel youthful again when you give your body what it needs. Anti-Age Max. Dr. Bill's Anti-Age Max is available now by calling 888-212-8871. That's 888-212-8871. Or order online at NutriMedical.com. That's N-U-T-R-I Medical.com. NutriMedical.com. Your source for the most powerful nutraceuticals and wellness protocols from a doctor you can trust.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
The United States, the jewel of the crown of this world, has been seized by offshore banks publicly. And if we don't address just how dire things are, just how out of control things are, with Newsweek saying we're now a socialist nation, we're all socialists now, we're not going to be able to turn this around. No more time to play patty cake or mince words. This is tyrannical world government at point-blank range attacking our country and looting it. They got all these scared people saying, we'll do whatever you say, take our rights away, just give us, money, give us jobs, when the very same crew filling Obama's administration, if you thought Bush was bad, are the very people in the Clinton administration who changed the banking rules to engage in this criminal looting. A bunch of Madoffs, basically. Got Representative Guest on with us, and I appreciate Jim Guest joining us from Missouri, District 5, Republican. And I told you it was 8 states. I guess he's the 9th because they introduced it yesterday. It's up to 10 now and 20 more looking at it. Why did you, looking at things happening, run over the thought process of introducing this, where it's going, how we help you get this passed? I know I'm on a couple stations, like the fine station KCXL out of Kansas City. How do folks put pressure? Because we know the foreign bankers are lobbying, putting pressure against you guys to not save the republic. How do we help you? Well, A, why'd you do this? What's the main threats? B, how do we help you?
The main reason is, I've got 2 grandchildren, and I keep telling people I want them to grow up in, I should say, the world I have. Last thing I want to do is sit on the front step of my house and tell my 2 granddaughters I can remember back when America used to be free. I don't want them to ask me what it was like, Grandpa, when America was be free. That's one of the main reasons I'm working is for the children of the future, so they've got a free country to live in, so they don't have to live under this tyrannical power that's coming down at us here. So in addition to that, it's an obligation to the people, my constituents. They elected me to look out for them, to protect their rights and their freedoms, and that's what I was doing. That's what we've got a number of legislators around the country doing. So it's it's a concern today, but it's more of a concern to what's going to happen tomorrow if we don't take action today. And like you said, it's not tomorrow we need to take action, it's today, because I keep saying we're at the crossroads, and whatever freedoms and rights we lose, we're never going to get them back. On the campaign trail, a typical response was, they always say, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? I always ask the question, do you have more or less rights today than you had 4 years ago? And people realize, kind of a wake-up call, that slowly their rights are being taken away, and they can see the federal government's power grab taking over that. And right now the federal government's trying to make people happy by putting a few dollars in their pocket and take more control of their lives. So that's why it's so important that we join here. And how can people in Missouri help? Pretty easy. When they find out who their legislators are on the committee, call their legislators and tell them to support this HCR 13, and I've also got a bill out there, House Bill 361, to reject the Real ID Act. Those both go in pretty close together. The Real ID Act's another attack for Big Brother to start watching us and controlling us and tracking our every movement. So those two bills are ones I'm working on today.
Well, people want solutions. This is it. This is the remedy in the Constitution next to the cartridge box. Is the states, and I hope we don't have to go to that, for the states to say no and stand up and declare their sovereignty. And, we're now, I said that earlier, hours ago, this is the big crossroads. I totally agree with you. And the good news is the bad news. And I'll take the bad first. The bad news is they've taken the gloves off. They're openly announcing world government, FEMA camps, forced compulsory service, national goon squads, carbon taxes that'll shut down what's left of our industry, open borders, tracking and tracing. It was in Bloomberg yesterday that in the stimulus package is the total federalization of health care, where doctors have to be told by the government what treatments they could do. And in there it says over 55. It says in the bill. They would deny this before. They said this is the British model, and we're just going to let old folks go blind. We're not going to give you the surgery. We're not going to give you brain surgery. You're going to have to wait. The young people will get the health care. Actual rationing. So the good news is the bad news. The bad news is they're out in the open with classic tyranny and corruption and abuse and control. But that's also the good news, because it's so outrageous. How could we not beat this? Why are they? So please speak to that. And why do you think government is going so hog wild right now?
I think they've been successful in the past in stepping on us, and with that people revolting, I think maybe it is, as they say, time for another revolution here. That we've quietly gone along here until these last, I'm not sure, 3 or 4 years. They take away our rights, and people kind of go along with it. And now they think that we won't put up any resistance. But then that's why it's so great, and I'm so glad to see so many states stepping forward now. I think I just feel like that they've got the upper hand, which they do have, and they're going to continue with it. So they feel that the states won't revolt, won't resist, and they've got the people in a state of fear out there that they're not going to have a job or not going to have any money. And if the federal government gives them a few dollars to put in their pocket, then they'll owe them, and they'll be grateful for what they have, not realizing what they've lost in the meantime and getting to that point.
Well, I agree with you. Ron Paul said a million times, and it's true historically, we could lose our whole economy tomorrow, but if we had liberty, we would rebuild it very quickly. Liberty is the engine of milk and honey. It is the engine of a great, free, beautiful society. Socialism and corruption always devastates everything in its path. So can you speak to that? You talk about your grandchildren and children. I'm the same with 3 children. I look at them, and I'm not worried about the feds setting me up or demonizing me or, even killing me, and I've had death threats. It's like, my God, there's not even a choice here. I have to fight these people to the bitter end, whatever the cost is. I am going to the end. And I can see with you and many other reps we're having on, I've never heard this type of commitment from Ron Paul and many others. There is now a commitment because it's clear our worst, ideas on this were correct. It's even worse than we had thought.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point there. Some of us older people are willing to put up some resistance, and I think they realize that, and that's why they've sort of maybe let us alone, and they're trying to indoctrinate the young children in the fact that they accept putting a biometric fingerprint or something, or accepting a chip implanted in them. So they know that that's where they're going to start at a young age, indoctrinating them to be under their control. And that way they can form their habits from the very beginning. And that's where our education process has to go, to make sure that the young people are aware of the downfalls and the pits that await them out there, and get them to join our cause. And we have some younger people getting involved here, and I think they're the ones that realize that their future and their freedoms at stake here. But then this socialism path that we're going down, it's picked up speed here. In fact, I guess you'd say we're on the downhill slide right now, and it's going to take an all-out effort to get it stopped. But then it's a price that we're going to have to pay to get it stopped at there.